Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for inquiring about this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me for pricing. My email address is tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we discuss a model originally launched back in 2015. This is the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Day-Date 40, reference 228239 in white gold. So this watch, 40 millimeters in white gold, measures 40 in diameter, 12.1 thick, and then from end to end, the total distance, because we have pivoted end links, so the lug-to-lug dimension is 47.5 millimeters, and there's a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. And that is the difference between the Day-Date 2 and the Day-Date 40. The Day-Date 2 had solid end links on the President bracelet, so it was 53.5 millimeters from end link to end link. This is 47.5 because of the pivoted end links and makes it a much more wearable watch. Not 1 millimeter smaller, maybe 5 millimeters smaller in terms of how it actually fits. So on my wrist, 16 centimeters circumference. It's a nice fit. The solidity of gold Rolex watches is incredible these days. It feels like a platinum watch from any other brand. Now you can see that it's not anywhere near the edges of my wrist in this down the barrel shot. So I believe you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. It is 12.1 millimeters thick, but it has a sloped bezel, so it sits even lower and it will slide beneath the cuff. Taking a quick look one more time down the barrel. Now over the top, the bracelet. The Day-Date 2, in its platinum form, featured an experimental set of ceramic-coated pins inside its bracelet. The idea was that the gold, or the platinum in that case, could not aggress against the ceramic coating, so the pins would not thin out, so over time the bracelets would not stretch. Well, it worked, and it worked well enough that for the Day-Date 40, every version, platinum and gold, got those ceramic-coated pins inside the bracelet, and that's what we have here. Now, Rolex has its own foundry. It makes its own golds and steels, and it makes its own cases, clasps, and bracelets. So what we have right here is all Rolex. They make everything you see. But the alloy is what's known as gray gold in the industry. It's a white 18-karat gold that is the same color all the way through, so if you scratch it, it's not a different color underneath. And it is homogeneous, never needing rhodium plating. So traditional white gold is a milky sort of yellow. This is true white gold. It needs no plating to look white. It's a little bit warmer in tone than rhodium plated white gold, but again, the maintenance requirements are much, much lower here. This is the good stuff as used by Greubel Forsey, Patek Philippe, Jaeger-LeCoultre, and many others. So Rolex uses gray gold. The President bracelet has been part of this series since the original Day-Date bout in 1956, and while the Day-Dates are often referred to as the Rolex President or the Rolex Presidential, properly speaking, that's just a nickname. They're always the Day-Date. But the bracelet, however, is called the President. It's a short profile, 3-link design that has a lot of the solidity of the 3-link Oyster Sports bracelet, but the short link souplesse and flexibility of the 5-link Jubilee. Removable links are fixed by screws. You can see that on both sides. Many removable links, so you're going to find it easy to size and get the right match for your wrist. We have a thick gauge, fully polished, single swing arm deploying clasp. And then we have a little lever of sorts. This is not a conventional friction fit clasp. When you close it, it snaps shut because there's an interlock between a beak and a hook. So you actually have to unlatch it to open it. This is a lot more security than previous generations of the crown clasp. But as with every crown clasp, it's stealthy, the only visible partition point between the two sides being the 5-point Rolex crown. Rolling around to the case, it's a familiar Oyster case, polished lug hoods, polished case flanks. We have a solid case back, a screwed-in Oyster case back. We have a twin lock crown, screw down in gold. You know that because it has 2 dots. That means a twin lock in gold. And the watch is 100 meters water resistant. The bezel is fluted. These days, when you see a fluted bezel on a Rolex, traditionally that's always meant gold, although now you can also get a fluted bezel in platinum, but it means something special, something more than steel when you see a fluted Rolex bezel. The dial is a lovely dark rhodium with a metallic sunburst grain radiating out from the center. We have white gold, or I should say gray gold, hands, indices, and Rolex crown. The idea being they will never tarnish, oxidize, or change their color. And this is a particularly sporty take on the Day-Date, because not every Day-Date 40 dial is loomed, whereas this one is quite well loomed, and you can see Rolex's proprietary blue chromolite loom. Now it's a twin quick set, or a double quick set is the industry terminology. would be, and you can see it has hacking or stop seconds. Let's make sure we're not in the date change danger zone there. So you can stop the seconds hand to set it against a reference time. You also have a rapid system for, well, double quick setting, hence the name. You can change the day and you can change the date. Screw that back down. Inside the case, Rolex manufactured caliber 3255, bidirectional automatic winding, 70-hour power reserve. A big change from the old 3156, which used a jeweled staff for the rotor. It's now a ball bearing, much more shock tolerant. In the vein of shock tolerance, we have a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance. The free sprung balance also making for very precise adjustment. And the watch has a certified movement, COSC certified, but Rolex then takes that certified movement and tests it in 6 positions as a K-step watch, so the entire product, as delivered to your wrist, keeps time to no worse than -2 + 2 seconds per 24 hours. Now, that overcoil hairspring that's used is not just an overcoil, which helps with timekeeping in various positions. For consistency, they use an overcoil, but it's made of a blue oxidized niobium zirconium alloy that also makes this watch highly anti-magnetic. It has a beat rate of 4 Hertz or 8 beats per second, and it pivots on 31 joules. It also uses Rolex's own proprietary shock protection system called Paraflex. Rolex is one of the only brands in the industry that makes this super specialized component in-house for its own use. There is lots to love here. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.